The big story that we're tracking today, the 18th SAARC summit, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has just addressed a gathering at SAARC where he has talked about how 26/11 is a painful reminder of how all South Asian nations need to unite and deal with terror. Let's listen in to what Prime Minister Narendra Modi had to say. I'm joined at this point in time by my colleague Smita Sharma, who is in fact joining me live from Kathmandu. Smita, Prime Minister Narendra Modi there in fact, talking about the SAARC summit. He has in fact invoked 26/11 as a painful memory. What are people making of the Prime Minister's message?
Well, clearly, this reference to the Mumbai attacks, keeping in mind this is 6th anniversary. In fact, this morning he tweeted about those attacks as well, saluting those brave security personnel who laid down their lives, that supreme sacrifice, in fact, for protecting other citizens. But clearly, this reference came in a speech which actually focused initially for the longest part on issues of connectivity, on issues of development in this region, and how India really has been the diplomatic editor for the Hindu, Suhasini Heather. Jyoti, did it come as a surprise to you that he really did not open his speech on the terror plank, this being 26/11, or was he trying to drive home the message a different way?
I think, Smita, Narendra Modi has returned to Kathmandu after 4 months, and clearly he's a world leader, or at least he sees himself as a world leader. He's been to the US, he's been to Australia, he's been to all these other countries in between. But this is something that he also realizes that unless SAARC is fixed, and clearly there are so many problems with SAARC. Right. He also realizes that India and Pakistan, although you remember, if you noticed, he did not make even one mention of Pakistan. Right. There was a very indirect reference to trade from one Punjab to another Punjab. But I think so therefore his focus on trade, connectivity, economic issues, integration within SAARC. He realizes that people within SAARC, the other countries, are getting fed up with this tension between India and Pakistan.
Is there that increasing sense that really Narendra Modi is positioning himself, as the leader in this region for somebody to come to, and also driving home this message to Western powers as well, addressing the SAARC summit, not in Hindi, in English, and driving home that message that other neighbors are really doing business with India?
Well, I think interestingly he spoke in English simply because it's a more inclusive language for South Asia. All the leaders before him also spoke in English, and I think he was trying to make that point that he was reaching out to the leaders here as much as he knew that he is being listened to in the world. Look, at the end of the day, the message he has given is very clearly the message he gave when he came to power. That message of the neighborhood being the most important. And perhaps if he had used this as a platform for India-Pakistan tensions, or as you said, for making a very strong case on terrorism, that wouldn't have gone down very well with his audience or his co-panelists on the stage today. So Mr. Modi very acutely aware of what the need of the hour and what people were waiting to listen to over here. I think you can't take away from the fact that his speech on South Asia, as you said, was a leadership speech. It was perhaps the longest speech amongst all the leaders there, but it was also the speech that took into account all the various parts of SAARC cooperation, trade, space, visas, connectivity, and all the rest of it.
All the issues perhaps the other leaders also want to really remain the focus and not just, remain a shadow as far as India-Pakistan relationship are concerned. We'll go back to the studio, in fact, and I think we'll have to toss into a break. But basically, as you can clearly see from Suhasini and Jyoti, in fact, out here, that they think that this was more of a leadership statement being made by Narendra Modi here.
Right. Absolutely. Deputy Editor Smita Sharma there joining us live, of course, joined by Jyoti Malhotra and Suhasini Heather there, getting a perspective on what they exactly made of Narendra Modi's address to the 18th SAARC summit. Interestingly, he spoke in English, addressing not just SAARC leaders, but clearly sending out a global message to leaders across the world that Narendra Modi is in fact emerging as a strong leader, not just in India, of course, but also